Contrary to popular belief, succeeding in business is not accidental or risky. When you align your passions with proven principles, success is inevitable. Since 1999, Joe Nicasio has been advising startup entrepreneurs and seasoned business owners like you to do what they love, to share that love through effective marketing, and receive love in the form of cash from grateful clients. If you want to learn proven tactics you can put to work in your business today, listen to this podcast.
Hello, this is Joe Nicasio, founder of the Employee Escape Plan and the Build a Better Business podcast. And this is episode 1. And I was thinking to myself, what should be the first edition of this podcast all about? And I think it should really be about choosing your business wisely. I think the biggest reason people fail in business is they choose the wrong business for their personality. And so, but if your business is in alignment with your personality, if it's aligned with your passions, if it's aligned with your skills, and it actually makes you money, then that's actually kind of a wise choice for a business. So that's what we're going to cover today. So, if you don't get this right, you're no good at it. You're lost, you're confused, you're unsure, you're disoriented. Warren Buffett says risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. And choosing the wrong business is about choosing something you're not good at. We don't want to do that. The second reason people fail, the second problem is a lot of people do something that they love, they're passionate about, they're good at, but they haven't figured out how to make it money. So they end up having empty wallets. They end up empty pockets. They end up working really hard on something that doesn't make money. But what's even worse than that is when you build a business that you're making money at and it's stealing your soul. I've had jobs like that where you worked really, really long hours. You were rewarded very well, but you had golden handcuffs and you really didn't have the freedom to live a life because you work so many hours, even though you're making good money, that you don't have a life. And that just leads to, failure. It leads to misery. That's no good. So let's turn this around. Let's talk about what does it take to choose your business wisely. Well, why do you want to choose your business wisely? The opportunity, number one, is you get to work your magic. I know you have magic in you. You're a child of God. That's my faith. Everybody has some kind of gifts or talents or skills or abilities. And if you choose your business wisely, you can use your magic within your business to impact the world. The number two reason why you want to start your own business, the opportunity, is you can turn your passions into profits. You can do something you love and actually monetize it. And thirdly is if you choose your business wisely, you get to do it, like Frank Sinatra said, I did it my way. Okay, don't hire me for singing. But, a lot of times when we're working for a company, they have these kind of funny rules that don't make sense to me. They didn't when I did that a long time ago, the corporate thing. And so when you create your own business, you can do something you're good at, something you love, and you can create your own set of winning rules instead of being subject to someone else's rules. And at the end of the day, what this feels good. You wake up every day doing your passion, impacting lives, doing meaningful work, making money, and getting thank yous from your clients, and knowing in your mind, in your heart, in your entire being that you're doing something that changes the world. So why do you want to choose your business wisely? What would it be like? I want you to just kind of imagine a time in the future. What would it be like for you to have work that you enjoy, like you love it, and you're good at it, like you really improve lives, and it pays well? What would that be like? So let me break down into some steps of, that was kind of why. Let's get into some of the what. The first thing you want to do is take a little inventory of your wizardry. I was apprenticed by a guy named Jay Abraham, And one of his most powerful concepts is this idea that your greatest wealth is not, your tangible assets. It's not the cash in the bank. Your greatest wealth is your intangibles. What are you passionate about? What do you love? What are you inspired by? What are you knowledgeable about? What are you skilled at? What are your talents? What are your gifts? So, we want to look at what are you really good at? Where's your wizardry? And then we want to align that with your passion. Again, that your passions are intangible, but they're super valuable. And the third piece is then after you figure out what are you good at in terms of your wizardry, and then what are you passionate about in terms of your inspirations, how can we get that in alignment with you actually getting paid? This is, third critical piece. And the fourth thing is if you really nail this down, you can actually identify a starving crowd. And I have to share a story here. Gary Halbert, the marketing wizard that passed away a few years ago, he was at a seminar and the attendees were other marketing wizards, other marketing geniuses. And he asked them, if you could start a restaurant and you could have one advantage over all other restaurants, which one would you choose? And the first guy said location, location, location. He says, okay, that's a good answer. The next one said, I would want the best chef. Delicious, amazing food. Okay, good answer. He asked the next one, and he said, well, I'd want bargain food. Everybody likes a good discount. Everybody likes a good deal. He says, okay, good answer. The next guy said, well, I'd want a nice nice ambience, a nice place where people feel comfortable spending hours buying food and buying drinks. Okay, that's a good answer. And the last guy said, customer service. We all like to be treated. We all like to be treated well, and when we're treated well, we'll come back and be repeat customers. And Gary, said those are all good answers. He said, but if I had a restaurant and I could have one advantage over all other restaurants, I would want a starving crowd. You see, if I have a starving crowd, location doesn't matter. People will go off the beaten path. If I have a starving crowd, it doesn't matter if I'm serving steak or lobster or hot dogs. They're starving. They'll eat whatever we serve. And if we have a starving crowd, we don't need a fancy location. We could have a street taco stand and there would be a line around the block because they're starving and there's a whole bunch of them. And he says even, you don't even have to have good customer service. You could be like the soup Nazi in Seinfeld. I don't know if everybody knows that reference, but, the soup Nazi's this super rude guy, and they're standing in line, Jerry Seinfeld and Elaine, and it's like, why do people come here? It's like, he's so rude. It's like, but they're craving the soup. And so if you have a starving crowd, it's a tremendous marketing advantage. And so as you create your business from scratch, you want to identify who is a crowd that's hungry to have their problem solved. And then what we want to do is blend all this stuff together and be very intentional that we have all of these elements. We want to do something that's intentionally within our passions, within our wizardry, that makes us money, where there's a good opportunity to feed the starving crowd. And so when we're really intentional about creating a foundation of these kinds of fundamentals, and we can prove that it works small, then we want to have something that's scalable. Now, I want to keep this podcast a little short, so I can't go too much deeper into that. But let me tell you about one of my clients came to me. His name is Solomon Judah Van Buren. And when I met him, he was working at Netflix, making about $14 an hour. And, he's 21 years old. He's like, Joe, I like my job, and, I'm a good employee and all that. But, this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. So we went through the exercises, we went through the coaching, we figured out what is it that Solomon wants to do. And I got this phone call. I was like, Joe, I figured it out. I want to be a traveling DJ. And that's him. That's a graphic of him at an event he just recently did. He is now DJ Solo the Don. He still maintains a day job, but he does this as a side hustle on the weekends. he's having fun, he's making money, and he's impacting lives, and most importantly is he's doing work that pays him, that fills him up, unlike the day job. So let me ask you, is your business in the sweet spot? Do you have that combination of loving what you do? Are you building your dream instead of someone else's? Do you love what you do? Are you good at what you do? And are you getting paid for it, the kind of money you feel that you are worth? So here's a real good question. What would it be like if you could reinvent yourself with a dream business? So, I think most of us, me in the past, this is true, as we get into these careers by default, instead of creating a career by design. So I want you to imagine, what would it be like if you could actually sit down with a blank canvas and say, what would my dream business look like? That's the work that I help my clients do. And so here's the question is, will you create your dream job as an entrepreneur, or are you going to continue in your traditional ways, just keeping things at the status quo? I don't know. That's the decision. Employee escape plan is a decision point. You don't have to hire me as your coach. I'm just saying that you need to come to a point in your life where you say, am I going to work on my dream finally, or am I going to keep building someone else's dream? I understand you need that paycheck, but there's nothing stopping you from having a plan, and there's nothing stopping you from having a blueprint. There's nothing stopping you from creating a side hustle where you can actually create a business that works, so that when you're tired of your soul-sucking job, you've got a business that's working and you can scale it and grow it and stop working for the man and be the man. So how do you do this? How do you choose this business wisely? Well, I've got this worksheet. And by the way, if you want a copy of this worksheet, just send me an email, rapidresults@gmail.com, and say, I want the Choose Your Business Wisely worksheet. And so, it's really about taking time and inventorying your intangible assets. Let's do an intangible assets inventory where, the problem with your intangible assets is they're intangible. What we want to do is take these things from the ethereal in your head and write them down and put them into the material, so we can organize you into one business that's powerful, one service. You identify one problem in the world that people will pay you for, where you can organize your talents and your skills and your abilities into doing one service or one product that can really make people's lives better and can get you paid well. So there you have it. I can promise you, if you choose your business wisely, if you're waking up every day and you're passionate about what you're doing, even if you're not making money yet, when you're passionate about it, that passion is going to get you through the tough times. If you wake up every day, serving people in a way that you solve their problems and they're grateful and they'll pay you, you are on the step. Once you've chosen your business wisely, that's the first step in really building a business, building a better business, building a business that truly works in your favor, so you can be a little bit more self-reliant instead of employer-reliant. Thanks for listening to podcast number 1, where we talked about choosing your business wisely, and I look forward to putting more podcasts together where I can share some good information with you to get your mind thinking and start moving in the right direction. This is Joe Nicasio, your business coach, EmployeeEscapePlan.com, and Build a Better Business podcast.
Interested in working with Joe? Schedule an appointment at EmployeeEscapePlan.com.